Hey guys, how's it going? It's BobbyKbikes here, and welcome to another BobbyKbikes garage vlog. Now today we've been spending a few hours mechanically overhauling my Trent Tourist. We've repacked the bearings in the front hub. There's lovely fresh new grease in there, a new bearing here and there, and it's now spinning a lot more smoothly. There's no nasty knocking sound. The nasty knocking sound was down to this that you can see in my hand here. That's one of the original bearings, cracked, and it was grinding around inside the hub, causing the nasty knocking sound. You can see that where it's been cracked and where that was once one big sphere. You can even see that the crack isn't even that rough or jagged. It's been smoothed because the parts have been rubbing against each other inside the hub, so that's really not good for the health of one's bicycle. But my dad's scrubbed up the hub really nicely. If you remember, this used to be sort of blackish brown with rust and dirt of the last 51 years, but now there's some pretty decent chrome showing through. And what else? I've been giving a polish up to the paintwork here. It's quite amazing what a bit of good scrubbing up can do, and also how much good paintwork can be hidden by 51 odd years of dirt and stuff like that. We've also put a multimeter across these 2 points on the dyno hub here, spun the wheel round, and the needle moves, meaning that it's generating a current. So the dyno hub is working, and we should be able to wire up some lights and get them working. I've also cleaned up and rebuilt the rear caliper. It's not fully hanging together yet, but that can be arranged. But I used the sandpaper and WD-40 and oil trick. It's not perfect. I haven't given it as much time as if I wanted to get it perfect, but it certainly looks a lot nicer than it did. So that's what we've done so far. Now we're going to take apart the crankset, put some fresh grease in there, re-grease the bearings, clean up the chainring and all that kind of thing. And if we've got time, we're going to give a bit of much needed love to the grifter. She's got a sheared cotter pin, and there's a bit of play in the cranks that way, so we're going to fit a new cotter pin, and then we'll have the grifter working. We'll catch up with you guys when we've done a bit more of that. Okay guys, so it's the next day, and we rebuilt the front hub. We partially rebuilt the rear Sturmey Archer hub. That's our first Sturmey Archer rebuild, and I'll show you the rear wheel in a minute, but I'll show you this first. We've taken apart the steering, and we're going to repack all that with fresh grease, etc. A lot of neglect. Dry bearings, I'll just show you. That's the bearings from the top of the headset here, and as you can see they're very dry, but we'll get them cleaned up nicely. And yeah, I'm going to clean the area around here while we've got this in bits, because it's the easiest way to clean it. I'll just strip the rear hubs polished up quite nicely. There was one bit where the chrome had begun to flake off like foil on a Kit Kat, but apart from that, this rear hub is in good condition. And I'll just show you around this side, because the sprocket's been cleaned up, and it's cleaned up beautifully, and there's fresh grease and the bearings in there, and it's turning really nicely. So when we get this back on the road, she'll be running beautifully with any luck. Okay guys, it's been a couple of days since the last clips were shot, and a good bit of progress has been made. First things first, I shall show you this. If you watch that light while I spin the front wheel, you'll be able to see that we have a working rear light. And when you've got the front wheel rotating quite quickly, it is a really nice bright little light, but we need to move it maybe down to here-ish and put it on the other side, because this is Britain and we drive on the left-hand side of the road. What else? We've had steering, we've rebuilt it, and I've sort of shined up this front lamp mounting bracket, and we'll be able to put the front lamp back on soon and take this thing off and put it on a more modern bike. And we need to get a new bulb for the front lamp, and we've finally got the chain guard off, and I did a little bit of panel beating and sanding. We've got that big dent out. It's not perfect, it's still a bit dented, but it's much better than it was. We're going to just patch areas like that up with red hammerite. It's not an exact colour match, but it'll do for just wanting this bike to be safe from rust. So yeah, the chain guard's in a lot better state. And what else? The rear mud guards. Long-term solution for the mud guards is I want to remake them in fiberglass. I want to use these mud guards to create molds and then make a pair in fiberglass. But as for the broken brackets, my dad made a new one out of some aluminium sheeting that we use for topping gate posts, etc. And he also made this little bracket, which is pop riveted to the mud guards. And I think that looks like a very good little bracket. But do you know what it's made from? This is a piece of true recycling, if I can find the piece from which it was cut. But I can't right now. But it was in fact cut from a panel from an old tumble dryer that we had. Before we took the tumble dryer away to the skip, we stripped as much of it off of it as we could. We took some metal panels so we could do stuff like this, to make brackets for my bikes and things along those lines. So yeah, that was good. And also today we've been finalising this little bike here, the Raleigh Draken. We've now got it ready to be sold, and we've put a good bit of work into it, and we've got her really nice, so someone's going to get a great bike out of this. And yeah, that's been the events of the last couple of days. Ah, there's the piece. It was this piece of metal from the old tumble dryer. Dad just sawed through there and then bent it a few times, and lo and behold, a mudguard bracket. So that's been that, and it's the first overhaul video, and I will show you more in the next overhaul video of this bike. We'll hopefully rebuild the cranks, get some fresh grease in there so that it turns not bad, but it would be nice to have the knowledge that this bike has been completely mechanically rebuilt. We also need to finish the twist grip. Then it'll just be a case of cleaning her up and putting her back together again. Anyway, this is BobbyKbikes. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next video. Ta-bye.